Welcome everyone, this is Honest Restart, and this time we're talking about a whole bunch of things Metroid. Samus has been trending on Twitter lately, and the reason for that has something to do with some speculation about Samus being a playable Fortnite skin. Brie Larson, a big Nintendo fan including Metroid, is going to be presenting at the Game Awards next week, and there are rumors for both a 2D Metroid and a Prime Trilogy going on. Could perhaps some sort of announcement be around the corner? And with all the big hirings for Metroid Prime 4 going on, are there some big plans for Metroid? Is Nintendo planning a big revival strategy for the Metroid franchise? That's what I'm going to be talking about today. Now before we jump into things, let me quickly talk about my social media. There is a Twitter page, a Discord community, a Patron page, and a Twitch channel. If you are interested in any of that, check it all out, it's linked in the description below. And of course, if you like what you're seeing here, subscribe. To get things started, let's first talk about how important it is for Nintendo to bring back Metroid in the right way. I definitely think they want to be really careful about this, because the Metroid series, from a critical acclaim perspective, from a quality perspective, has been right up there with Super Mario and The Legend of Zelda, some of the highest rated games of all time. Metroid has been right there. Metroid Prime is legitimately one of the top rated games of all time. For those who have played and enjoyed it, they say it's incredible, myself included. It is a masterpiece, and Metroid Prime is not the only masterpiece for this franchise. But sales-wise, the series just has not been on the same level as Mario or even Zelda. But during the Switch era, things are different. A whole bunch of games are selling really well, not just Mario, not just Zelda. This is Metroid's opportunity to finally make a comeback, but a comeback that will mean not just one or two good games, but a period, or an opportunity for it to establish a very large fan base and for the franchise to stick around and be consistent, like Mario, like Zelda. I think Nintendo understands that, which is why they've been so careful about showing off these different Metroid games that have been rumored or been in development for the last few years. So today what we're going to be focusing on is how Nintendo may go about reviving this Metroid franchise, and this whole speculation about Samus being in Fortnite might have something to do with it. Maybe. So let's talk about this Fortnite Samus Metroid situation. So basically, Fortnite Season 5 has just started. Fortnite has crossovers all the time. Marvel, Disney, superheroes, it's all been there. Everything has been in Fortnite basically, pretty much. So the premise of Fortnite having some sort of deal with Nintendo or Sony or Microsoft isn't that crazy in my opinion. But what is kind of crazy is it's looking like these different crossovers are going to be crossing over on all different platforms. So right now, Kratos from God of War, a Sony franchise, is in Fortnite. They just added him, and it's pretty cool because you can play as him on all of the different platforms that run Fortnite, including the Xboxes from Microsoft and the Nintendo Switch. There have been some fairly credible rumors suggesting that Master Chief from Halo, a Microsoft franchise, will also be a playable Fortnite skin. And with these rumors for Master Chief and the confirmation of Kratos from God of War, the speculation has been very high for a Nintendo character to also be a part of this massive crossover in Fortnite. Which is why Samus has been trending lately on Twitter. People are thinking that it would be Samus because she is Nintendo's bounty hunter. Fortnite Season 5 is about bounty hunters, and Samus is one of the few Nintendo characters that actually uses guns, so it kind of makes sense. Considering that this character would be playable on different platforms, whatever character Nintendo chooses for this crossover is going to get a lot of visibility. It's going to be seen by a lot of different people who don't even play on Nintendo systems, so this is definitely an opportunity to market something, to push something. Mario and Zelda are very well known, and I don't think Nintendo would want to put a gun in their hands. Fortnite is about using guns and building. Link or Mario, I don't think would be quite the right fit for that. Samus, on the other hand, is from a franchise that's a little bit darker for Nintendo, and she does shoot and kill things all the time. That's her job, that's what she does. She is a bounty hunter. From that perspective, I would say that Samus does make a little bit of sense. I even think some of the little accessories for her Fortnite skin kind of add up. So her glider would just be her airship, and her backpack would just be one of the little pet backpacks where they have like some sort of small creature or a dog or something. You would just have a little Metroid floating around, kind of like how they have Baby Yoda floating around for The Mandalorian. it makes sense. I think from that perspective, it all would work out really well. But there's one potential hiccup here. Samus uses an arm cannon. She doesn't have two normal arms where she can just hold a traditional gun. She shoots beams from her arm cannon on her arm. So it would be kind of weird to see her use a gun. It just wouldn't match up quite as well as Kratos or Master Chief, who have both of their hands. They can use guns. Even though Kratos doesn't use guns in his game, he still has two normal hands. Samus only has one normal hand. Could they make it work? I'm sure, but I'm simply stating that because of this little design quirk of Samus, maybe they won't deem her to be the right fit for this crossover, assuming that there isn't even a Nintendo crossover. But if Sony's going to put in Kratos from God of War, and Microsoft is going to put in Master Chief from Halo, I have a hard time believing Nintendo won't do something. Samus still does make some sense, but that arm cannon thing kind of throws things off a little bit. But for the sake of this discussion, let's just assume that Samus will be one of the Fortnite skins that are going to be added with this major crossover. Even though Nintendo likes to be careful with their IP and it may not happen, let's just assume for the sake of this discussion that it will happen. I think this is one of the announcements we could see at the Game Awards, one of a few different announcements. Perhaps a couple of them could be relating to Metroid. This could be a great way to get other people to see Samus. She will be playable in Fortnite on different systems that aren't just for Nintendo, and this could be announced at the Game Awards where a whole bunch of people are paying attention, and they could have this announcement at the same time, or at least during the same event, as another Metroid announcement. There's been some speculation that another Metroid announcement is around the corner. I've been thinking it would be a 2D Metroid, but of course there's also Metroid Prime 4. Maybe it's about time we get some sort of gameplay teaser for that. That's also a possibility, and of course there's a Prime Trilogy that's just been in limbo for such an amazingly long time. Something Metroid is bound to get announced sooner or later, and I'm talking about an actual game, not just a Fortnite skin, and there's a very good chance that could happen at the Game Awards. Starting things off with this Fortnite skin is going to be a great way to give Samus and the Metroid franchise some exposure, especially if you pair that with an actual game announcement at the Game Awards. And what makes things a little interesting is that recently we got an announcement that Brie Larson is going to be one of the presenters at the Game Awards. So here's the thing about Brie Larson. She's an actress, and she is known for being a big fan of Nintendo. Nintendo and Brie Larson have actually partnered up recently. She is a Nintendo fan, and she's not just a Nintendo fan, but also a Samus fan. Now, from what I understand, she's not like the biggest, bestest Metroid fan that knows all about all of the lore, but she has cosplayed as Samus. She's definitely somewhat of a fan of the Metroid franchise, and she's even expressed interest in playing Samus in a movie. So just hear me out here. What if Brie Larson has something else to do with this potential Metroid revival that we could see at the Game Awards? We could see a Samus Fortnite character, we could see Brie Larson, who may be involved with a Fortnite movie, a Metroid movie at some point in the future, and maybe there's a Metroid game announcement. There's all of these different things that could be happening. Do I think Brie Larson is going to be a part of some Metroid movie? Maybe in the future, but not anytime soon. This may just be a coincidence that she's going to be a presenter at the Game Awards, but who knows? Maybe she'll be the person announcing something or being something to speak to the Metroid franchise, perhaps. There's a lot of different ways they could go about doing this. But either way, even if Brie Larson isn't a part of the announcement for this Metroid game, even if there isn't a Samus Fortnite character, having some sort of Metroid announcement at the Game Awards is going to reach a very, very large audience. And considering how big of a year 2021 seems to be, that's the speculation right now, starting things off with a Metroid announcement paired off with maybe something else, maybe Zelda, fingers crossed, would be a great way to start off 2021 in terms of hyping things up. Considering that Metroid's 35th anniversary is also next year, I am thinking Nintendo's going to pair up some sort of announcement or release around that time. My personal speculation is that Nintendo will announce a Metroid game at the Game Awards. I'm personally thinking it's going to be a 2D Metroid game, but this 2D Metroid game is going to look amazing. While I say it's 2D, it's still going to have 3D HD graphics. Just imagine Samus Returns made grounded for this Nintendo Switch. That would have looked amazing. And Mercury Steam hasn't come out with a game since 2017, since Samus Returns, so maybe they've been working on this Metroid game all this time, and they're about to announce it, and we'll see this Metroid game sometime in 2021. Maybe close to release, for the 35th anniversary, or perhaps it comes out a little bit sooner and we get really lucky and Nintendo gives us even more Metroid. Maybe they give us the Metroid Prime Trilogy around the 35th anniversary this August. That would be amazing. It would sort of make sense considering what Nintendo did with 3D All-Stars for Mario's 35th anniversary, and if Nintendo does something similar for Zelda for its 35th anniversary with this whole rumored Zelda collection, it would definitely be very storybook. It would fit a certain narrative, it would be fun, it would be exciting, and we'd have a whole bunch of Metroid goodness for 2021 to celebrate its 35th anniversary, and Metroid will all of a sudden be relevant again. There would be the Samus Fortnite character, maybe. There would be this new 2D Metroid game that would look amazing, and then people would get to experience the actual Metroid Prime series on the Nintendo Switch with Prime Trilogy HD. A whole bunch of people that never got a chance to play Metroid back on the GameCube will get to play it on the Nintendo Switch. This game could sell millions, like a whole bunch of other Nintendo franchises that have found a whole other level of success on the Nintendo Switch. But all of this Metroid goodness would just be the opening act. The big deal, the big game we've all been waiting for, is Metroid Prime 4. This game has now been in development for years. We've seen a whole bunch of different hires, and the way we've seen Nintendo treat this game, it definitely seems like they're treating it on the same level as Breath of the Wild. They want this game to come out as a masterpiece when it is finally finished. It could take a little while. I'm not expecting it to come out next year. I'm thinking 2022. But with all these other Metroid things, they could use that to make Metroid relevant again, revive the franchise, create a whole new audience for Metroid, and get people talking about Metroid. And maybe next year, they could at least use all this Metroid discussion and hype to announce the game, or rather, reveal the game, because it's already been announced, but give us like an actual gameplay trailer, maybe with the title, and confirm that 2022 release. Do all of that, and we see Metroid Prime 4 come out next year. I mean 2022, I keep saying next year because we're still in 2020, but the point is 2022 Prime 4 could come out. It could be a masterpiece, it could be a game of the year kind of game, and when it does come, it will cement Metroid as a consistent franchise. The franchise will be fully revived, it will be consistent, it will be here to stay, and we'll be seeing more regular Metroid games to follow up with the success of hopefully this new 2D Metroid Prime Trilogy and Metroid Prime 4. I think there's that kind of potential here, and I do think Nintendo's going to be very careful about how they're going to go about reviving the Metroid franchise. And that could all start with the Game Awards this holiday, next week. Perhaps there will be some sort of Samus Fortnite character. Perhaps Brie Larson, who is known to be a Metroid fan, will present some sort of Metroid announcement. And maybe we'll even see a new Metroid game next week. Be it a 2D Metroid, be it Prime Trilogy, or maybe even just a teaser for Prime 4, which wouldn't be just, that would be bigger than everything else. But there is that kind of potential. So we shall see. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Anyways everyone, this is On This Restart. Thank you so much for listening and watching, and I'll see you all really soon. Take care.